Here we are. All right, so I'm the only one presenting today, so we can take our time with this, and if you have questions, just ask me.
Okay.
It's much simpler than last week's. Let me share my screen here. All right. You guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so my topic this week is local storage, objects, arrays. They're pretty simple. Local storage has a limit of 5 to 10 megabytes. It's kind of similar to cookies, but you can store much more information. And local storage is stored per domain, so there won't be, you can't save something to local storage, go to a different web page, and it still be there. Local storage is a key value system, so you would have to access it by calling local storage, and then you'd set an item, give it a key, and then a value, and that would save it to your local storage. And that's as simple as it is. I mean, it creates the item when you set the item as well. And then you can get it using the key. You do local storage.get item with the key. You can remove an item. The local storage is set up like an object, like a JavaScript object, so it can be modified in that way a little bit. I'll show you in my code. I did a little bit of some object manipulation on the local storage. For objects, you initialize a dynamic object with this line right here, the var item, and then the curly brackets. And then you create an item by calling your JavaScript object, and you give it a key right here, and then you set the value of that key. An array is similar. You just use square brackets instead of curly brackets. And there are a couple different ways you can add items. You can do item equals new array and then define your array like this in commas with values, or you can push items to your array just like most coding languages, data structures allow. Just do a push with the value of the item.
Does pushing it put it on the end of it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can access a array with an index. You can access an object with a key. So if you want to get the second item in the array, you would do item square brackets 1 equals, whatever. You can change the value of it. This is my demonstration. This is something that I kind of brainstormed with the company that I work for, that trade shows oftentimes don't have internet access. And so you would be able to load this web page beforehand, like on a mobile device or something like that. And it uses the local storage to save like a scanned QR code, a badge ID or something like that. And that way it saves it to your device and you can access it later when you do have internet. So right here, you can just mock scan these QR codes that don't go anywhere. You can add them. I got it. And I will show you in my application. If you want to look at your local storage, when you open up your console here with F12 or right click inspect, Control Shift I as well, you go to application, and then over on the side there's local storage, and then the domain that you have or are on, and it'll show you what local storage items you have. So these are the three items that I have, the three that I scanned in. When I remove one of them, it removes that item from the local storage. Can show you. So to do that, so this is where when I scan an item, I say, I access the local storage, and then I set a new item being the contact name, and I build that object right here from an array. So I dynamically create an array from a string. I split it on the commas and underscores because that's just how I have my string set up for each person. I don't know how a QR code at trade shows actually scan. So this was just kind of guesstimating. And so that turns the string into this array right here. So there's five different strings now in this array. And then I take it and put it into a JavaScript object. And using the object, I use the name as a key for the local storage. And then I stringify, use JSON.stringify on the object, because when you're saving to local storage, it has to be a string. If you try and save an object straight into local storage and try and get it back, all it's going to tell you is object, like literally the word object.
Okay, that's the problem I was having with it too.
Yeah. And then when I retrieve the local storage on load, so you can refresh the page, and this data is still here because I get it from the local storage, and then I populate my global objects right here. And I had to do something a little funky for it. I was messing around with this a lot because I didn't know what was going on. But you can loop through every item in your local storage using this for loop. Oh, sorry. It basically says that for every item, this I in local storage, you know, check it. And so I had to do this try catch right here because every browser that I tried except for Firefox was allowing me to do this code, but Firefox was not for some reason without the try catch. And so I create an item. I do JSON.parse. So I take it from the string and parse it back into a JavaScript object, and that is now item. And then I say if it has a name, if there's a key value with a name, then it's actually an object that I put in there. And then I create or update my global contacts object. And I do a lot of table creation and stuff like that. That's about it. I don't know. Is there any questions? Anything you guys didn't understand? Anything I went too fast on?
I don't have any questions.
That actually helped me. So
Okay, and I'll post my
I was
code too.
doing this yesterday and struggling. So
Yeah, it's once you understand like JavaScript object notation, JSON, it makes it a lot easier to deal with local storage and objects and arrays and things like that, just because you can visualize it a lot better. Something that I like to do is I'll look online for like a JavaScript or a JSON parser online. It's something that helps you create a JSON file just so that I can visualize what I'm building, what I'm looking at, so that I can access the content later. But that's up to you. I don't.
that might be helpful.
All right. Is there anything else? Next week we got to start. No, next week is the last week of presentations, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think that
because week 10 we have to start our.
I think that's week 11 that we start. I think we have like week 9 and week 10 to do to finish up the code, and then at week 11 that's when we start.
Oh yeah, week 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you guys thought any more about what we might be able to do? I know we talked about the e-commerce site, but we don't have to do that one.
Yeah, I haven't thought much about that this week.
Okay.
But I mean, the e-commerce site sounds fine.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
find that idea either.
We'll have to next week or the week after. We'll have to talk about who wants to do what, and then plan it out. So, all right, guys. Anything else?
Nope. Good job.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later then.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later.